What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Shift with Francisco Rojas and the Hall of Fame, Cooperstown, New York, the home of the magnificent, or so we thought, Baseball Hall of Fame, has once again showed its true colors, and they've shown it within the past 24 hours. I want to say, first off, congratulations to Fred McGriff, but also within congratulating Fred McGriff, it's unbelievable that Fred McGriff had to wait this long to get into the Hall of Fame, that he had to wait to get into the Contemporary Ballot in order to get into the Hall of Fame. I'm going to get into that in a second. Go make sure you check out my last few videos. Going to have the link to that description below. Go make sure you check those out. Go make sure you subscribe to the channel. And another video, more Hall of Fame stuff coming this week besides just this contemporary, the results from the contemporary today, because I originally had decided on making the video I'm dropping later this week. I was going to do that today, but I had to talk about the contemporary ballot because those results happened last night. So first off, congratulations to Fred McGriff. Unbelievable career, man. 493 home runs, 7 away from 500. The fact that he didn't get 7 more is the reason why he can get in the Hall of Fame is unbelievable, which is what I'm really just about to get into. And there are a few reasons from what we saw and what we read, the results from last night. It's great for Fred McGriff, man, but there are just a few things that happened that I look at and I say, this is just the whole. This is the Hall of Fame. This is the way it is. It's terrible at this point, man. It's completely awful. Look, I'm happy that Fred McGriff got in the Hall, but the fact that he had to wait until 2022 on the contemporary ballot because he didn't get the 500 home run mark, and he would have gotten there probably had that strike shortened season had not happened. He would have gotten there. Fred McGriff not getting to 500 or not getting written in. I think he was on the ballot from 2010 to 2019. The fact that maybe he wasn't going to be a first ballot, but by the time he 38.9%, I think, on the his last year of the ballot, it's embarrassing, and it's embarrassing that it took him this long to get in. And we can look at Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. Of course I had to include them. They only get fewer than the 4 votes out of the 16 of the, I think there were executives, players. Those were the people voting on this ballot. The fact that less than 25% for all-time home run king, probably the best hitter of all time, was a Hall of Famer before so we think before the steroids, right? Same with Roger Clemens, all-time Cy Young king, 7 Cy Young awards, incredible seasons he had from the mid-'80s to the mid-2000s, which is unbelievable to think about. They only get less than 25%. They were getting what? They were topping 60% last year on their final year on the writers' ballot? It's embarrassing, man. It is just super embarrassing for Cooperstown, for the Hall of Fame, that this is what we're getting. This is what we're getting, man. Look, I'm happy for Fred McGriff. I'm super happy. That's great. That's great. He seems like a great guy. Honestly, one of the more underrated power hitters that I had ever seen. And look, I had seen him when I was super young, when I was, I'm 27, so Fred McGriff retired around 04, 05, I believe, around that time period. And I never got to see him, or see him too much rather than just, late in his career. But even then, he was still a good power hitter. He was always super consistent throughout his career, right? From the late 80s to the mid 2000s, always 20 to, 35. Never reached 40 home runs, but he could have that strike shortened season. Always a consistent power hitter. OPS always a good amount above league average. Always. It's just super consistent. And with different teams like Toronto, San Diego, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, won a World Series. Just every team that he went to, he was always super consistent, was always the same player through and through. It doesn't seem like he took steroids. Like he was always the same player. So for McGriff to have to wait that long is just embarrassing. I'm sorry. It's just embarrassing. I know we've had all this, it's been a cluttered Hall of Fame ballot the last 15 years with all the Hall of Fame stuff, whichever side you're on. I mean, there's guys in the Hall of Fame that have used steroids. That is a fact. That is a known fact. There are guys and that's what's even more embarrassing. And it goes back to a personality thing too, right? People like Mike Piazza. People like Jeff Bagwell. People liked Pudge Rodriguez. That we knew they took steroids. Come on. We know that. So it's a complete embarrassment at this point. I still, to a certain extent, love the Hall of Fame just as a baseball fan, but this is just super embarrassing. Bonds and Clemens only get fewer than 4 votes. McGriff had to wait this long. I'm happy for him. He talked about in his interview afterwards, MLB Network interviewing him that he, had to, kind of lean into being patient, like, cool, but he shouldn't have ever had to be too patient. That's the point, okay? And the whole Curt Schilling thing's a mess. He got, 7 votes? He's a Hall of Famer. Curt Schilling's a Hall of Famer. Should have gotten on the writer's ballot within the first 5 to 7 years. One of the best postseason pitchers I'd ever seen. Him and Randy Johnson were unbelievable. That 1-2 punch. And when he was a Philly, never really got the chance to see him because I was too young. But Schilling is a Hall of Famer. Schilling's definitely a Hall of Famer. Don Mattingly, 8 votes. To me, he's borderline. I don't know if he really had that longevity numbers, like when we're looking at career WAR and the overall arching statistics. I don't think Mattingly's really a Hall of Famer. But to me, you can make the argument he's borderline. Same thing with Dale Murphy. I guess you can make the argument he's borderline just because he was one of the best players of the 80s. Again, never got to watch him. He's borderline to me. I really don't think he's a Hall of Famer because he doesn't have the overarching career numbers, but he's close. But I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. And then Rafael Palmeiro, fine. The Hall of Fame, when the writers or the contemporary ballot here, they did the right thing. To me, yeah, Palmeiro used steroids, and I've been more lenient to some of these guys that have used steroids, but I mean, he didn't seem like a great guy. And I know the whole character clause thing, but he didn't seem like a great guy. And I mean, in 2005, he did the whole, I never used steroids. And then within a year later, he gets suspended for taking steroids in 2005. This is after the league was cracking down on it. So that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. I don't really have any problem with the Dale Murphy and the Don Mattingly thing. They were close, but they didn't get the... We'll see what happens in 2025 when the contemporary ballot comes back. It seems like Bonds and Clemens don't have a chance. That's probably the door is shut. I mean, maybe if they had gotten Mattingly and Schilling type of votes, 7 to 8, maybe I'd say 2025 comes around. Maybe they do have a good shot of getting in. They needed 75%. That's 12 of 16. But it doesn't seem like... It seems like the door is shut. Jason Stark wrote a good article, I think, was it yesterday, after the results came out, and kind of said the same thing, the door is shut. That's kind of how I feel, unfortunately. But we'll see. We'll see in 3 years once the contemporary ballot comes back. I mean, obviously, most of us want Bonds and Clemens in. Also, I didn't mention Albert Bell. He got fewer than 4 votes. Another one that's sort of borderline for me. Unbelievable peak, but didn't have the longevity numbers, so to speak. So, we'll see, man. Next contemporary ballot. I want to know your thoughts, though. What are your thoughts on McGriff getting in the Hall of Fame? I think we can all agree he is a Hall of Famer, but what did you think about it taking him this long? What do you think about the whole Bonds and Clemens getting fewer than 4 votes? Curt Schilling, again, to me, that thing's a whole mess. I think he's a Hall of Famer, but it's just a whole mess, man. At the end of the day, the Hall of Fame is really an embarrassment right now. It's not great. I'm looking forward to the writer's ballot, and I'm also not looking forward to it. It's just it's a whole mess with the whole PEDs and the whole character clause, everything that goes into the Hall of Fame now. It's really a mess. It seems like other Hall of Fames really aren't having this type of problem. But maybe I'm wrong. But can you tell me? Maybe is football having this problem? Is basketball having this problem? Doesn't seem like they have this problem. Seems like it's only baseball. So let me know. Get at me. Gonna have another video for you guys later this week, sooner than later. But that's gonna do it for me. Follow me on Twitter at @RojasMedia_, or excuse me, I got my Twitter name wrong. That's really stupid. At @Rojas_Media_. You'd think as much as I'm on there, I know my own Twitter name, but get at me on there. Subscribe to the channel, like it, all that stuff. See you guys next time.